Hello, I'm Bill Burrows. Steve Reed and I are co-founders of Play, Story, Eat Ministries. We welcome you to Be the Church, a blog where together we become growing disciples of Jesus. Now, what does it mean to be the church in a changing world? What does it mean to be a disciple or to be called a Christian? Steve and I continue to pray and think about these questions often. The Barna Group does research for spiritual influencers. They define a practicing Christian as a person who identifies as a Christian, a person who agrees strongly that faith is very important to them, and a person who has attended church within the last month. According to Barna, 25% of the U.S. population fits into this category. That's about 83 million people. But how does God define a practicing Christian? What is God's bottom line when it comes to being the church? Well, we believe it's found in His two great commandments. In Matthew 22:37 through 38, Jesus said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment." Very simply, it says to love God with all your being. For me, this means to be open and responsive to God. When I love God, I invest the time and energy to see the world, others, and myself from His true perspective. I work at conversing with Jesus to know and understand His reality. But that's not enough. If I truly love God, I'll respond with action to carry out His plans and accomplish His will. That's what it means to love God wholeheartedly. There's more. In verse 39, Jesus also said, "And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Now, these two commandments are interlinked. You really can't do one without the other. For me to love God, I also need to love people like I love myself. Again, this means to be open and responsive to people. When I love people, I listen. I attempt to see their view of reality as well as my own in light of God's true perspective. Now, I'm an expert at being open and responsive to myself. When I want to do something, I do it. Now, way too often I ignore God's truth about me and go with my own distorted view of what I think I need or want. The truth is, I don't even love myself well unless God is involved. But Jesus raises the bar even higher for His disciples. In John 13:34, He says, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another." Now, when I love people as Jesus does, I take the time to understand them. I won't be quick to form an opinion. Then I'll be able to respond with sacrificial action to love them. I stop being self-centered and become a conduit of God's love to others. Now, I wish I could tell you that Steve and I love God and love people like Jesus does 24/7, but I can't. The sad truth is, we have lost many battles to the world system, our own flesh, and the devil. In moments of time, we have been distracted, enticed, and confused because we haven't stayed connected to Jesus. Now, we invite you to stand with us and together resist our common enemies as we become people that love God and love people as Jesus does 24/7. To join with us in our community and keep up to date, follow us at Play Story Eat on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Please like and comment on our posts to spread the word. Up next, We look at our mission when we are being the church.